Just redoing a wattle here, folks. Sometimes you rewatch a video and you don't really think you've done it justice, although I probably did. But I didn't really get it in flower either. And now that it's boom flowering time for a lot of wattles in Sutherland Shire, I just really wanted to do this one again. This is the beautiful Acacia filicifolia, and they're just growing here south of the Bangor bypass. Just in the Menai area in Sutherland Shire. Now, they don't really belong here. I think they've been planted, maybe as a bit of rehabilitation for the bypass construction. We've got a beautiful Hawkesbury sandstone gully down here, a big intact bushland block. They certainly don't get into the gully forest. They're just here on the edge, and it's one of the best places I think I can pick them up. And I'll keep my other video online, but I'll just call this version 2 in flower or something like that. Just keep, maybe the other video has got some benefits that this one won't have, but I just wanted to come out because I did see it in flower 2 or 3 weeks ago for the workshop. It was absolutely booming. And again, blink and you miss it. I've sort of missed it in its prime flowering time. A lot of the flowers are now sort of senesced. There was a lot more material weeks ago, but I managed to get these sprays as well, which is a good thing. Filicifolia, it's a tree to 14 metres. This is a trunk of this one here on the side of the road. It's got these sort of lighter glaucous patterns on it. They don't seem to be lichens in this case. They're just these glaucous patches. They might have some lichens down around here. They're probably genuine lichens there, I think. Otherwise, it's just this lighter glaucous patches that, amongst this sort of greyish brown smooth bark. A bit like Parvipinula, throwing those lighter tones. And this chunk, yeah, it's at the base, it's about 30 centimetres across, so it's a nice genuine size. It's got some interesting scratches there as well. So good genuine size wattle. There's another one across the road there, so 15 metres. Now, they're a New South Wales, Queensland wattle. They're mostly a New South Wales wattle. They just get into Queensland, again in that Stanthorpe area. They just punch up there through the range, tablelands, into that Stanthorpe area. And in New South Wales, they go down to Bateman's Bay. Now, from Bateman's Bay, getting there on the south coast, they're purely coastal. And they sort of punch directly north from there, and they spread out into the central tablelands and northern tablelands, but they're not really on the southern tablelands, interestingly. Just up from Bateman's Bay, north along the coast into the tablelands. And then when you get up to the north coast, they're not really on the north coast much. They tend to be more on the northern tablelands or the coastal tablelands divide. So they're coastal south of Sydney, but then they are... when you get to the northern parts of New South Wales, they go onto the tablelands there. So that's sort of interesting enough in a way. They get up there around Armidale and Tamworth. I think they're as far west as Inverell, up in that part of northern New South Wales, and then punching through to Stanthorpe. So that's the range. Coastal in some areas and tablelands in other areas. As this is a non-local species to the area, it's good to say where I have seen them. I first got familiar with them in the Hunter Valley on Warkworth Sands woodland around Warkworth there. They were smaller shrubs in that particular habitat. And where I've seen a lot of them too is sort of past state conservation area north of Lower Portland there, sort of up above the Hawkesbury River. Growing in sandstone gully forests. There they grow in Hawkesbury sandstone gully forest, and they're meant to be in some wet sclerophyll patches as well. So that's where I've seen a lot of my filicifolia. I've seen them around Nowra as well in some coastal bushlands. There is one growing at South Cronulla, but I think it's been planted there. But they're some of the locations I've seen them. Yeah, they've just got a bit of a paramatensis look, but the foliage is a little bit different. Just slightly, not quite paramatensis. It's a bit more glossy. It just looks a bit different. I've rarely seen a paramatensis with that trunk, but take that with a pinch of salt. That would be a pretty big paramatensis if it had a trunk like that, but it is possible. So you're thinking Paramitensis, but then you walk up to it, and like I showed on the other video, all the evidence is in the interjugary glands. The interjugary glands on the leaves, that's what we're getting. Just really, really distinctive interjugaries. You can get up to five interjugaries per section. Or you might say per interjugary internode, I guess. Or you might call that one a jugary. And then you might say 3 or 4 interjugary a lot of the time. There is a petiola gland as well down the bottom, but even above that you will have interjugary glands. So this is the killer feature for filicifolia. Just come up to this one, and there's a ton of interjugary glands there, all dotted all the way along. They're a little bit randomly placed, but you might get a bit of a distinctive pattern after a while. But I think they can be 5 in some cases, and I think on the last video I captured 5. And just demonstrating on this leaf, just for a bit of representation, yeah, that's what you're commonly getting for filicifolia. They're spaced out, where Parvipinula Mearnsii, they tend to be, the interjugaries tend to be bumped up against each other, or you're getting sort of jugary and interjugary glands bumped up together. Filicifolia, they're nicely spaced out. It's a much bigger plant than Parvipinula. It's Mearnsii is this size. Mearnsii gets a nice size like this, but it's got a different foliage. It's just got a different looking foliage. The foliage is meant to be hairless. It's meant to be glabrous, where Mearnsii can be a little bit hairy, and Parvipinula is hairy as well, but this guy is meant to be glabrous. The reason I came back, I think I was trying to make a more succinct video, but I wanted to show the flowers as well. They are in flowering time. So really I should be capturing these guys when they're in flower. Nice lemon yellow flowers. They don't talk about how long the inflorescences are, but I think the flower heads can have up to 40 flowers or so in a head. But it's a genuine, you know, globular heads, bipinnate, so it's going to have that feature. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were beautiful. They were just covered in these lemon yellow flowers. I got plenty of specimens. I probably robbed these 2 trees to a large extent. Maybe I can keep coming for a bit more in the seasons, but I'll have to find some other plants to rob from. But just beautiful lemon yellow flowers. Remember, decurrens are a bit more golden yellow, very bright golden yellow in decurrens. I'd say sort of light golden to yellow. These are more lemon yellow. Parvipinula, they tend to be pale to lemon yellow, very pale a lot of the time, almost like a, say, a ulicifolia colour a little bit. Paramitensis, it's a bit more of a lighter lemon yellow, bright yellow. And what have we got then? Mearnsii, which, yeah, sort of probably fits there somewhere in between. I should do a Mearnsii video with the flowers as well, which might come on later this year. So this guy's known to flower from July to October. And that's sort of been reflected here in early September. But it's these ones here, they're just finishing. They were very good in about mid-August. They were covered. So that's probably enough for filicifolia. Just remember the interjugary glands. The foliage does look pretty glossy, hairless and glossy. It's got a bit of a shine to it. Mearnsii does as well. But I can just see it's a bit different to Mearnsii. It's a bit more spaced out. The pinnules are a bit more spaced. The overall leaves seem a little bit bigger. They're just a little bit bigger and a bit more plasticky looking. They have a bit, I find filicifolia has a very plastic looking texture. And when you feel it, it's very ferny. It's got a nice feathery, ferny feel. It's nice and soft. It's beautifully soft. But it's got from this distance, it's got a bit of a plastic artificial look. And that's something I tend to latch onto as well when I think I've got it. Nice to get it in flower. So hopefully that's a slightly more compressed, better video without any sort of PowerPoint slides.